Hey, FlossTube, it's Shelly, Proverbs 31:22. Today is Tuesday, December the 10th, and I'm going to jump right into haul today because we had our guild meeting today and Christmas party, and I've got some things that I won and received at that meeting, so I'm going to share those with you. So we have been having, we have a table every month that we choose door prizes from. And the things on them have been just kind of hanging around for a while, and so they want to start fresh in 2020. So they made us all go up and choose one thing today, at least one thing. So I chose this Pretty Patches quilting patchwork applique magazine. It's put out by I don't know what company, but it's a UK-based company, and I always just scratch my head and say, why can't anyone in the United States produce a magazine like these? I don't know, I don't get it, but it's got some pretty little projects in it, but I'm always drawn to magazines. We also played a game where they gave us a gingerbread cookie that we had to put on our forehead and try to get it to fall into our mouths and be the first one at each table went separately, be the first one at our table to get it into our mouths, and whoever did won, and I won for my table. So I won the little centerpiece, which was this jar with the ribbon. Actually, it's just is it fabric? I don't know if it's fabric that they stiffened or ribbon, filled with good yummy chocolate. And then they also had 2 fat quarters on each table as underneath the centerpiece. And these were the ones that were at our table. Beautiful, love that. Then we did a gift exchange, a Grady Santa. So everybody who wanted to participate brought a prize. And then we, of course, took turns picking from the table or stealing from one another. I was lucky number 1. So at the end of the game, I got to choose whether to keep what I had gotten, which was a good chunk of fabric that wasn't my color scheme. It was, it was pretty, but it just wasn't my colors. And it was also some Ghirardelli chocolate. That was really hard to choose to give up. But I did give it up because I had to have this instead. Look at these. Look. Oh my God. I love purple. So, got that, yeah. And our outgoing president did a really cool installation of the new officers for next year. And I volunteered to be our shop hop coordinator. And so she did this little presentation where she talked about the different tools that we use for sewing and making a quilt, and how each person, was like that tool. But she had a little object that she handed us to say, remember your role. So mine was this little car, because I get to plan the road trips and stuff. So I'm looking forward to that. My work schedule is gonna really suck this coming year because I will be working a lot of the Tuesdays, like the first 4 months. I think I'm working on our meeting days. So yeah, whatever. But anyway, pick that up. Last month I had talked about this, but I couldn't see it. Like my mama would say, if it would have been a snake, it would have bit you. It was right on the table behind where I was filming, but I just couldn't see it. But I picked this up at Home Goods when my daughters and I went shopping for my birthday last month. And yesterday I got the Fat Quarter Shop Floss Fix pack in the mail. Country Red, Barn Door, Licorice Red, Holly Berry, Ruby Slippers, Ribbon Red, and Bandana. And I'm not sure if this club is full or not, but they had some spots that opened up last month, and I jumped on it because it had been full for a while. When I was shopping for my gift exchange gift and for our outgoing president's gift, I picked this little bundle of, little pre-cut 1 yard of fabric that I'm going to use to finish my chock full boudoir that I'll show you later. And I also picked up online in an Etsy shop some ribbons and trims, and then these are the this little ribbon says boo. It's a bunch of little boos strung together, so I thought I would layer that on top of the orange and make a bow. So that's my little finishing for that. I also picked up a bundle of a bunch of different colors of baby pom-pom trim to finish out my hands-on design year of celebration pieces that I'm working on currently. Excuse me. This is my third time starting this video, so I really, I'm not gonna have to stop it again to go get water. You need to learn how to edit, woman. All right, so letterboard. Okay, I'm not going to show you because it's not really stitchy stuff, but it's currently snowing outside my window. That's why I keep looking out. We don't get a whole lot of snow here, but it started snowing today during the meeting. And so last night I went and picked up an order that I had done online at Kohl's for a heated mattress pad. So I'm planning on putting that on my bed today so I can snuggle up tonight and be toasty warm. Okay, so I wanted to film in here so I could talk to you about this quilt behind me. That is not my quilt. Well, it's my quilt. I own it, but I did not make it. It's not my creation. It is made by Gina Perks, who I had never heard of before this quilt came into my life about 7 years ago. I worked at that time with a man whose son-in-law was severely injured in Afghanistan. He basically lost the lower half of his body. And at that time, I did not put up a Christmas tree. So I had found a Christmas tree quilt pattern that I, got the stuff and planned to make for myself. And when I started working on it, it was right around the time that had happened to, his name was Brian Felber. He's no longer with us. He passed several years ago. But I was thinking about, it had happened, and I was just thinking, at first I thought, I'm going to make this quilt and give it to them for Christmas. And then I thought, why don't you make it and raffle it and raise some money for them? So when I decided to do that, within the next day or two, my sister-in-law, who was at that time a guidance counselor at the high school in Payson, Arizona, reached out to me, and she said, "Hey, Shelly, we are raising money for our peer counseling group, and we're raffling off a quilt. So I thought maybe you'd want to buy a raffle ticket." And I was just sort of like, that is so weird because I just decided to raffle a quilt off. So it just was sort of, like, do 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 do, like, okay, this is all meant to be, I guess. So I bought one, two, maybe five tickets. I don't know. It wasn't very many. I didn't buy a whole lot um, for the quilt that you see behind me. And obviously, I won it. So um, when I got the word that I had won it, I was at work. They called me on my cell phone, and I just happened to answer. I mean, usually I don't answer if I don't recognize numbers. Maybe the place in Arizona, I thought it was my sister-in-law or something. But anyway, I answered, and they told me I won, and it was like, just wow. So, but in the midst of that time, we were in the process of buying this house, and it was quite a process. It was quite a process selling the one that we were in that was just felt like an albatross around our neck, and we wanted it gone so bad. And I mean, we had it listed for like 18 months with nothing, and then we finally got a buyer, found this house. This house, they didn't really have issues with the house, but there were issues with the right away on the road and stuff. And so it was just one obstacle after another, and I was just really discouraged. And so when I found out I won this quilt, and I think my sister-in-law must have sent me the write-up that they'd done in the paper, because I don't know how I knew, I don't know how I found out, but in the process of finding out that I won, I found out that the name of the quilt is housewarming. So it was just sort of like this moment of peace and God saying, gotcha. It's all going to work out. And it did. So that's the story about the quilt behind me. Behind me. Jeez, this backwards stuff is just like, I can't get used to it. Okay, previous stitching. I don't have any other cross stitch previous to show you, because honestly, I only have, well, I maybe had one that I could have pulled out, and I just realized it. But the other two that I have are with the recipients that I gave them to in Louisiana. But I do have some other stitches to show you. I haven't picked up my tatting needle in a while, but I do tat. And I made this tatted edged hanky several years ago. I tried for years and years to teach myself from a book. Could never do it with a shuttle. And then I was in the fabric store when we lived in Louisiana one day, and this woman was just traveling through. She was from Texas, and she stopped in while I was in there, and she said, I don't even know how it came up, but she was tatting. And so she took a few minutes to sit there and show me, but then when I got home and tried to do it, repeat it on my own, I just couldn't. So I don't know how long we had been up here in Northwest Alabama that I found out about a class at the local quilt shop. And so I signed up, of course. And it was me and one other person for the first class. And then that other person never came back. So it was just me and the teacher. So I had some really good hands-on. And so we did 2 weeks of shuttle tatting. And it was, I mean, it was good because she taught me and I could finally, wow, I can do it. But I could never really, I don't know, I have difficulty with that. When you shuttle tat, you have to pull the thread a certain way to like flip the knot. And so she said, I think let's try some needle tatting. So she taught me how to needle tat, and that's all I do when I tat. So I made that. Like I said, I worked on it many years, but finished it a few years ago. And I actually use it on top of a lamp that lost the shade, sort of fell apart. It's one of those sort of plastic feeling shades. And I've just put that on top, and it acts as a lampshade. And then a couple of years ago, I used the quilter's planner for my planner. You know, I think I've told you before, I'm a planner organizer geek. But I made this cover for it a few years ago. I think it was a free pattern that they had on their website. And the YouTuber So Very Easy, she did a little tutorial and I sort of followed along with her. But I picked up these pretty Parisian inspired fabrics from Joanne and made me a cover. And it's got the pockets on the inside and pockets, a zipper pocket right here, and then pockets there and there. I can't open that because it's got passwords. So that's it for my previous stitching. Okay, finishes. I've got some stuff finished, but I've fallen behind on this first thing that I'm going to show you, which is the shabby advent calendar. And I'm sorry, y'all, I could not even attempt to know how to pronounce the designer's company name. She's on Instagram. You can find her on there, and you see the Kiori, I don't know. But anyway, that's the pattern that I've been working on. And I was really hoping that I would be able to keep up with it to do the countdown this year, but I was doing pretty good. And then, I don't know, I've been dealing with a lot of headaches. And so my stitching time ends up with me laying down in the bed because I don't feel good. But this is the piece that I got at Hobby Lobby. And then it just has the, I'm telling y'all, does anybody ever get it where they can like learn that it's opposite? I don't know. It's so weird. So there's a magnet on there. And I probably could have saved some money on Ada cloth if I had done, first done a piece that I covered with just like some Christmas fabric and then just did the pieces smaller. But anyway, I probably would have I would have had to have more mat board, which is astronomical. But here's what I got done. Like completely done. And you'll see as I go through these, like this one has the full border. And I realized there was definitely no way I was going to be able to keep that up. And I messed this one up. The border's not right. But since they're not all displayed together, I just decided on the other ones that they just have the little corners. I also changed up the colors to reflect my love of pink and purple because I just wasn't getting excited about it. It was a lot of just white. And then I had a color that didn't match, that would just blend in with the fabric, so I had to choose something else for one of the ribbons. So those are completely finished. And then I've got these that I've yet to finish, which now I think we're past these dates, so it doesn't matter. Like today would be 15. So I've fallen behind, and I don't know if I'm going to try to pick it up, and then go back and catch up on the ones in between, or I may just work on the, like this one that I'll put up for, the final for Christmas Day, the Nativity one, because I think it's going to be a little bit bigger. But I don't know. I'm disappointed, but oh well, it's what it is. I've got to got to work on a quilt that I'm gifting after Christmas. I have 2 pieces from the Chalkful series that um, I want to do for my daughters for Christmas. So I got a I got one of those finished, like the stitching's finished. I don't have the piece put together yet, but then I have one that I don't have finished, so I need to finish that. But my other 2 finishes are from the Year of Celebrations by Hands On Design that I picked up from Cutie Pie Stitch and Sew on Etsy. So these are the ones that are going to use the little pom-pom trim. And I had shown this one last video, but at that point it was just plain because I didn't know what I wanted to do on it. But then I picked up that stuff from that Sugar Pink Boutique on Etsy. So even though I was already past November and had taken it down, I said, I'm going to go ahead and finish it. I'll be ready for 2020. But it goes in this little frame, these Decembers, and there's not a whole lot of clearance around it, so I just didn't know what I was going to do to what's the word? Accessorize it. But then when I saw those little pom-pom trims, I was like, yeah. So this one I messed up on the present. I cut my fabric too narrow. Well, not that I cut the fabric too narrow, it's that I started in the wrong spot. So by the time I got over here, I was like really close to the edge. So I eliminated some of this border around the legs on this end. I eliminated some stuff that was coming off the present. And it's not centered on the fabric, but oh well. I'm still happy with it, and I think it's really cute. I love her designs. And that is stitched on 28 count Monaco. Color is tea dyed. That's the color. I didn't tea dye it. I do want to try my hand though. I was looking for my the president of our guild is also a cross stitcher, so I got her. I gave her my Eat, Stitch, Sleep, Repeat pattern. I'll pick up another one for myself later, but I got her flosses in her wheelhouse. I printed her out the little bag pattern that Fat Quarter Shop did with the Eat, Stitch, Repeat, Eat, Sleep, Stitch, Repeat piece that they made a little stitching bag out of. I got her some little fat quarters, and I picked her up some white Aida. And so I was also looking at the Rit die while I was picking that up, and was like, I see that in my future. I'm going to start doing that. Okay, so whips. The Boo Jar is the only other piece besides the Advent calendar and then the December year in celebration. But this is the only other cross stitch I've been working on is the Boo Jar. And this is, let's see, hang on, not enough hands. This is the Hands-On Design collaboration with Priscilla Blaine. She draws the chalkboards, and then Kathy at Hands-On Design turns it into cross stitch. And I think I talked about this last month. I don't remember, y'all. But I decided to do my pumpkins all orange because I found that this color right here is just too close to the white. So I just felt like it didn't show up enough. So I'm just going to do them all orange. I've got the color that the Classic Colorworks color that came in the kit from Fat Quarter Shop. And then I picked up a DMC, a variegated DMC, to do the other orange pumpkins. So I mean, I'm pretty far along. I'm doing good, but I just think I have to set aside the advent calendar to finish this since I want it to be for Christmas present. And then I'm also trying to get this apple crisp quilt quilted for it's going to be a baby new baby gift. Find your words. So I'm about halfway done. And we were talking this morning at Guild. Someone brought me a piece that she had done big stitch quilting on, and she was showing me the back and saying that, just pointing out like it's a little bit more distinct on the front than it was on the back. And I had that issue too, but I was telling her since I started using the little Aunt Becky's little fingertip, it's a little piece of metal that's like in a tent shape, and you put it over your underfinger when you're hand quilting, and it protects your finger. But I find it gives me a lot more, my back looks a lot better. Like it looks like you can see the stitches. This is the back. They just come out more consistently than they did without that little tool. So that little tool is a winner in my book. So I'm going to keep going with using that. Okay. That's all I got for my stitching stuff. Couple of shout outs. A couple of new FlossTubers that I've started watching. One is called Sambry Stitchers. And she's just sweet. I believe she lives in Washington State, but she's not near. I think she drives like 3 hours to go to the first Thursday meetup at Acorns and Threads, which is in Portland, Oregon. That area of the country, was something in the water. Like they have just so many amazing cross stitchers that live in that area. Like they have so many designers, and they talk about going to the first Thursday meetup at Acorns and Threads, and Beth Twist walked in, and this designer walked, and it's just like, whoa, what is the deal? I want to visit there, check them out, because the Stitch Roadie Anna goes there. And a lot of them that I watch, it's like the Kindred Stitcher, she also talks about going there. So pretty cool place to live and be a creator. But Sambry Stitches, she is a beast at finishing. I mean, OMG. I'm just amazed. Like completely like FFO finished. Not just, I finished these stitches and I'm just got this piece of stitching. No, like complete FFO'd pieces that just look amazing and so cool, really. She showed a fall piece. She has a lot of fall pieces, which I love fall. Fall pieces with, I think it said got crows. And so she found this little scarecrow decorative piece that she put the stitching on. Perfect. Just beautiful. Also, I know I watched Farm Girl a little bit before, but I've been watching her religiously lately because she's doing Vlogmas and doing some Advent opening. So she had purchased, she shows her son and her husband opening some things that she had, like it's just little brown paper bags with the numbers of the days on them, and each day they take a bag down and each open it on camera. But she also signed up for some Stitchy Advent pieces, programs. So it's been a lot of fun watching her open those. And she's actually one of the ones that she's opening on camera. If you watch her videos, like and comment every day of Vlogmas, then she's giving one of those Advents. She bought 2 of them so that she could give one of them away. So be sure to check those out. And you guys, I don't know if y'all saw today on social media, but they revealed the next chock full jar. Could y'all hear me squealing from Alabama? It's snowmen. I love snowmen, like adore snowmen, and it's snowmen, and it's just the cutest thing. Let me see if I can. I did a screenshot so I could text it to my husband. It's like, look at this. Oh my goodness. So, sorry. Let's see if I can get this to show up at all without a whole lot of glare. So this was Priscilla's social media today. Priscilla Blaine. She's the chalk artist that Kathy Haberman at Hands On Design takes and turns them into cross stitch. Look at the freaking snowmen. How cute! And just the snowflakes and the... Seriously, it makes my heart go pitter-patter. Adorable. Okay. That is all I have today. Don't know if I'll do another one before Christmas. So if I don't, Merry Christmas. Thank you for watching, for subscribing, for commenting. Really appreciate it. And if I don't do one for Christmas, I will try to at least shoot one while we're in Louisiana after Christmas so that I can capture those 2 pieces of previous stitching that live in Louisiana. Okay. Bye, guys. Have a good week.